If you have a gas stove where the top works fine but the oven is not igniting, it probably just needs a replacement igniter. This is how you could try and diagnose it without using any tools. So really the best way is to just kind of use your eyes. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to turn the oven on, and hopefully you'll see like a very faint glow. Then probably the igniter is just weak and it should be replaced. I'm going to shut this light off and I'm going to turn the oven on, and hopefully we'll see it. I didn't see any glowing, so what I did was I took the bottom cover off. Usually that'll come off. There's usually a screw or two in the back, or sometimes it just comes right out. But essentially every oven floor should be able to come out. So what we're going to do is we're going to look and we're going to do a visual inspection of the igniter. Now if you have a voltage tester, you could really test this in no time flat. But we're going to look at the igniter. It definitely looks like it's broken. Let me see if I could zoom in so you guys could see what it is that I'm talking about. Back there, inside this cage is a carbodium element, and it looks like there is a break there. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this igniter out, and we'll see if we could kind of get a visual on it, but we'll probably just end up replacing it, and this oven's going to work just fine. So if you don't already have one, you should get one of my fancy pants There It's Fixed 6-in-1 screwdrivers, because this is basically the only tool you're going to need next to you're going to need a pair of wire strippers to fix this oven. But this will take out all of your securing screws and nuts and stuff. The first thing I want to do is I want to get kind of a drop of oil on these screws. So these screws have been through a lot of heat cycles, and so they have a tendency to strip if you don't put a little bit of oil on them. So we're going to take our 1/4-inch nut driver and we're going to unscrew it. And then you should just be able to move the igniter out of the way. And if you give it a gentle pull, you'll find that there's more than likely there's a connection or a wire harness that you should be able to unplug and remove the igniter in its entirety. It's kind of stuck. All right. So every stove is different. This particular one has glides, and so what you want to do is you want to pull down on this lever, and on the other side is going to be opposite, so you're going to pull up, and then you should be able to just pull the drawer out completely. Once you gain access, you'll see this is the harness that I was trying to get, and you could simply just unplug it, and now you could remove the igniter. Right there. This igniter is definitely broke. You could see this is the break that happened to it, so we're going to replace it. Now what I sell, and you could go to my website and you could actually buy the screwdriver, and we sell these igniters. We sell like a universal type igniter. It's usually about 1/3 of the cost of the OEM one, and it's absolutely the identical thing. There's no difference in it whatsoever. So I'm going to grab my universal igniter, and we're going to have to do a little bit of figuring to get this replaced, but it should only take us a few minutes. So if you want to find the universal igniter for your stove, just go to my website and search the name brand of your stove. So in this case, this is a GE stove, and so you want to just search GE igniter or GE oven igniter. Usually the less words the better, and it'll show you up a big list of them. And you just want to find one as long as it matches. You see, even though these have different brackets, the actual element themselves is exactly the same. And we're just going to splice in this connection, and we're going to switch over the cage, and then we're just going to install it. And that's how you save yourself a ton of money. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to remove the cage from the old one. You might want to put on a pair of gloves, and essentially what you want to do is you want to kind of stretch it and then give it some shakes, and then you should be able to pull the old igniter out. Now take the same cage, and you kind of want to bend it back into place a little bit. Now with the new igniter, you simply stretch it, but be careful not to drop the igniter. This is extremely fragile, so if you drop it, it'll break and obviously it's never gonna work. And you wanna grab, you kinda have to stretch a little bit and then just slide it in place. And that's that. You wanna make sure that it's a nice snug fit, because you don't want the igniter to slide out. I like to leave myself a little bit of extra, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut it to about the length of the entire harness, and then I'm just gonna cut this harness here, so it'll give me an extra 3 or 4 inches to play with. And then we just take our strippers and we strip the ends. You only need a little bit, and then strip the ends of this one. And take the ceramic wire nuts that are provided with my igniter kit, and what you want to do is you want to just make the connection. So give them a nice twist. So you twist the wires together like that, and then just screw this until it's pretty tight. Once you're done, you kind of want to orient it in such a way like this so you could install it. This is ready to go. We're ready to install this. So the first thing we want to do is we want to put our plug back through. Again, you have to be really careful with the igniter. You don't want to break it. In the best case scenario, you'd like to have your ceramic connections kind of away, not in the oven, not where the flames are. So like you kind of want to have your connection, your splice closer to the plug than to the igniter. So that way it's kind of out of the firebox, so to speak. And then we're going to set the igniter into place and then take our screws and reset. Now what I like to do is I like to get both of them started, and they should still have a bit of oil on them, so they should screw in very easily. And once you get them started, then you could take my handy dandy screwdriver. Now these don't have to be super tight. If you tighten it too much, you'll definitely strip it. And it's not the end of the world, but if you strip both of them, then you're kind of in some trouble, because this does have to be securely in place. If this moves, what's going to happen is that the igniter is still going to work, and this is going to release gas. If the igniter will be too far away and it might not ignite immediately. It might cause, you know, all sorts of trouble. So you just want to make sure that this is securely mounted. Then we take our connection here and we want to plug it in. I've done this a million times, so I could do it with one. And make sure your connection is nice. And then you kind of want to just tuck it just so it's a little bit out of the way. Now that we're done down there, I'm going to put the drawer back in. And you're basically just going to line them up again. You guys, it is a little easier said than done, but... And then once you have both the glides, simply just close the drawer completely and then pull it back out, and it should have locked in place. Some don't have this issue whatsoever. Some are extremely easy, like you just pull them out or whatever and it gives you easy access to it. Others are a little bit more difficult, like this one. So now that we have the igniter replaced, we're gonna test our work before we finish putting it back together. See that orange glow? And there you have it. So the general rule of a super healthy igniter will light in about 30 seconds. A not so healthy igniter will take about 45 seconds. And if it's longer than a minute, then that means the igniter is pretty weak and you should consider replacing it. Anything over a minute, you definitely need to replace the igniter. Once you're done, just shut the oven back off. Let it cool off a little bit. Put your panels back in and pat yourself on the back. You just saved yourself $200. Thanks for watching.